What's up, everyone? So today we're going to be taking a complete look at my 2025 Christmas inflatable collection. This year I have 35 different inflatables and we're going to be checking them all out in today's video. For each one I'm going to be telling you a little bit about the inflatable, like some stuff about where I got it from, then just some other cool details about it. So anyways, with all that said, that's enough talk for the intro. Let's of course get into checking out all 35 of these amazing Christmas inflatables. Alright, and to kick off the video, everyone, right here's my newest and honestly one of my favorite ones in the collection. This is, of course, my penguin from Superstore, which this inflatable is such an amazing one. First of all, I love how it's basically two inflatables in one. You got the big penguin right there. He's also got the tinier one right there beside him. And I love the design of these guys. The faces look so cute. I love it. Then the one guy, I like the addition of that fish right there and the scarf. It looks great. Also love whatever company that does these inflatables for Superstore. Just the lighting they put into it, it's way brighter than the ones Jemmy uses and definitely lasts a lot longer too. And I do like how they put lights in both the big and tiny penguin, which is something I feel like Jemmy wouldn't do. They'd probably put one light in the big penguin, but overall an awesome inflatable. I got for a really good deal too. Is half off since it was Black Friday, so I got it for only 15 bucks. So overall I love this inflatable, and yeah, definitely one of the best in the collection. And carrying on, next up here we got another inflatable I got just the other day from Superstore. This is of course their new cat inflatable for this year, which I love this one too. Just the design on it, it's just so unique right here. Just this serious looking cat, very cartoonish look. But the thing I love about it is those Christmas lights that's wrapped around it. They look great. It would have been better if they were actual lights that lit up, but the little felt ones they use, I don't mind that either. Also like how it has an actual little bell right there on the collar, which is something I didn't expect this inflatable after first seeing it, but it is interesting that they did add that. And then just like the penguins, I love the light in this. It's really bright. It does only have the one light in it, no more, but still, I love that. And another one I was able to get on their Black Friday deal for half off, it's only 15 bucks. So overall, another one I love and definitely one I recommend for looking for getting a cat inflatable. This is definitely one of the best ones I've seen out there. And moving on, the next inflatable we got right here is my house hippo from Walmart for 2025, which this guy's an awesome one too, which if you don't know what I'm talking about when I call this the house hippo, is this ad that they used to run here in Canada, which overall is so iconic. And when I saw this in stores this year, that was the first thing I thought of when I saw it. So it was definitely one I just had to pick up. Also love to see design on this. It just looks cool. I like how the big mouth right there is open. It looks so weird just looking head onto this. And then the addition of the Santa hat and the Wreath right there is definitely nice and really just adds to the Christmassy vibe of this. So overall, I really love how this looks. A great design. It would have been cool to see a big hippo version of this, but still, I really love the tiny version because it does really remind me of that house hippo ad that they used to run here in Canada. And next up right here, we got an inflatable rubber duck, which I love this inflatable. I don't know why, but my family, we collect a lot of rubber ducks. There's always a bunch around the house. So when I first saw this, I knew it was something I needed to get for the yard, just to have a big rubber duck there. And honestly, I love the design of this. It's supposed to be this snowman type rubber duck, and I love the design. The head right there looks more like a penguin with that beak it has for some reason, but of the body there, how it has the buttons on it, then the scarf, I like how it has little wings there, which are all supposed to be snow. Then I like the addition of the top hat on his head, and I do wish it had some more light in it, specifically in the body, not only in the head. But for what it is, this guy's an awesome inflatable, just such a unique one, because, you know, I don't think they've ever actually done rubber duck inflatables, or at least they haven't here in Canada. So honestly, a really cool one. Happy I got it, and definitely one I recommend getting this year. He is so cool. And next up here we got inflatable, which I actually found at a garage sale back in April. It's of course these penguins here in this hot chocolate mug, which this is such an awesome one. I love just how unique this thing is. Of course, like having these two penguins in the hot chocolate mug, it's a little bit more cartoony, like doesn't make too much sense, but it's definitely one that I haven't really seen too much out there before. Apparently it's one from Amazon, so I do like that more uniqueness to this. And then the design of it's really cool, like that little hot chocolate mug that says Merry Christmas, and then the design of the penguins right there look really awesome too. And overall, it's one that I was able to get for only $5, which is such a good deal. I think on Amazon is around $70 to $80. So overall, a really cool one. It looks good with all the other penguins in my yard, and honestly, if you ever come across this on Amazon, it would definitely be a cool one to get. I love the design of it. And next up is another one of my garage sale finds from this year. This is, of course, the 8-foot Snowman, which this guy's a crazy one because this guy's able to get brand new in box for $5, which is insane. Of course, originally this inflatable, it comes from Canadian Tire, which it's still sold at Canadian Tire to this day and has been sold the last 10 years or so, I think, and it originally retails for $100, so gives for 5 is just really crazy. But overall, design wise, it's nothing crazy. It's just your typical Snowman. They did nothing special design, just the Santa hat. He's got gloves on, that typical Snowman face, scarf buns, so nothing crazy. But I do really love this. I love that more classic Snowman design. I definitely prefer it over some of the more innovative designs they have tried. But overall, classic Snowman, can't go wrong with it, especially for the deal I got on this guy. He's definitely a cool one and one that looks really good in my backyard this year. And carrying on, we got one of my Boxing Day pickups from last year. So, of course, the Christmas pig from Walmart, which this guy's an interesting one. It's not one that I really planned to get last year, was one that I really wanted. But when I saw it on sale on Boxing Day, it was just one that I had to get because it's just such a funny design. I like just a look of the pig right there. You got like his arms all put up. He looks all happy, and then just show the scarf and Santa hat right there is awesome too. So overall, just such a goofy inflatable, but I love how it looks in my yard, especially that pink color. I think it contrasts really well with some of the other inflatables I have. So overall, such a cool one. They do also sell it again at Walmart this year, so if it's one you want to get, definitely one I recommend. I love this thing, and overall, if you're doing a farm theme too, this would be so cool out for that. And carrying on, we got another one of my Boxing Day pickups from last year. This is, of course, Oogie Boogie from Walmart. And honestly, I love this guy. I'm a big fan of Night Before Christmas. I love how it mixes Halloween Christmas. Such a good movie. And honestly, this character right here looks really good. I love that bright green color they have on him. It looks awesome. There's the Santa hat in the stock right there is also really cool. And for this guy right here, I like how big he is too. Like sometimes these licensed inflatables, they don't make him that big, but he is really big. Not only is he around 5 foot tall, but he's also just really fat, I guess is the word for it. Overall, such an awesome one. And yeah, this guy's good. Looks so good with my Jack Skellington. And next up, this one right here has got to be one of the craziest inflatables I have. This, of course, the Gnome Advanced Christmas Trees from Canadian Tire. And this right here, the really cool thing about it is how not only does it just look great, I love how the 3 trees look with the silver and gold details on them, but this one is completely controlled from an app. It has some songs in it that play along to music, which is really cool, and then a ton of different patterns you can do, and you can also put in your own colors for this. So overall, tons of customizability, which I really love. And yeah, I just like that music feature too. You can have this out in the yard and then just have it playing on loop. The songs are programmed into it, which is really awesome. So overall, a really good one. It definitely acts well in my display as a background to some other inflatables to have some others in front of it. So overall, I love this inflatable and definitely one of the craziest ones I own. And moving on, this next one right here is another one that I got at a garage sale, which this guy is a pretty simple one, but still cool. And of course, this dog right here with the Santa hat, he's also holding the stocking right there. And overall for what he is, I do like the design of it. Of course, the dog, it's this brown and white design, which is kind of nice. And overall, for it being basic, you know, it's still a good one. I was able to get it for only $10 at garage sale, which is really good since this was originally retailing for $20. So overall, a simpler inflatable, definitely my least favorite in the collection, but still not too bad of a one. And carrying on, we got one of my Santa inflatables, of course, the Hanen version, which honestly is the cooler one. I love so much stuff about this, like the animation right there with the legs. I love how those move back and forth. That is so cool. And the design on this is awesome. The face right there looks sick. I like the body right there and everything in the bag on the back. So many cool details on this. It is so awesome. Then also, I was able to get this guy on Boxing Day, so I was able to get him for half off, which was such a good deal. So overall, I love this inflatable right here, and honestly, if you're looking for a Santa, this is definitely one I'd recommend. I like just how much more unique it is than lots of the other inflatables you just put on the ground. I love how you just hang them from your roof, so honestly, a really cool one, and yeah, definitely the best Santa I have. And next up's another more simpler inflatable. This is my Christmas sign, which overall, nothing too special. It's basically just this little sign right here. It says Merry Christmas, and interesting design. The way they made it just has that, yeah, green pole with the polka dots on it, and then the big sign up there, which I think looks a little bit weird, just how it, since it's an inflatable, you know, it's very thick, but I do like it. And one thing I do like about this is how it's double sided. Of course, the one side says Merry Christmas and the other side says Joyeux Noël, which is French for Merry Christmas. So I love that. It would have been cool if it was two English signs. I think the only reason they made it French was since it is in Canada. Of course, the two languages are English and French, but overall, a cool one and definitely one I like to have. And carrying on, the next one we got right here is Loo Who from Canadian Tire, which this one's a really cool. And I also have a Grinch Inflatable, which you'll see later in this video, but her along with the Grinch, they pair together so well. I just love how they look together. And honestly, for this one, it looks so accurate to the Grinch cartoon, especially the face right there. They did a good job on. And then the body and everything, they did a great job just with all the different details on it. Like how she's holding the candy cane right there, the little bow on top. Overall, it looks insane. And this one is one that they still sell at Canadian Tire. I saw it's on clearance this year. So overall, if you're looking for another one to expand your Grinch collection, definitely one I'd recommend getting, especially for it being on sale now for like 20 bucks. Such a good deal. So overall, Loo Who right here, an awesome inflatable, and definitely one of my favorite licensed inflatables. They did a great job on the design for this. And carrying on, we've got another penguin. This, of course, one from Walmart from a few years back. This is actually one that I got as a Christmas gift, which is awesome. And for this guy right here, definitely a simpler penguin, nothing too special. Of course, he has the plaid scarf right there, which I do love. Then, of course, the Santa hat, like most other inflatables. But overall, even though it's simpler design, I still do really like it. It pairs along really nicely to my other penguins in the collection. So overall, a basic one, but I do like it, and yeah, a great one to have in the collection. And next up, we got my Santa Racoon, which this guy is just such a random inflatable. I love it, of course. It's this raccoon guy right there, and he's got his Santa coat on, the Santa hat, and yeah, I love that design choice with him. Like, usually for these characters, they only give it the Santa hat, but I love how he's got the full suit right there. That is awesome. And the raccoon himself looks great. I love the tail he's got there in the back. The head looks awesome, and honestly, one of my favorite inflatables, just design-wise for him. It looks really good, and they did an awesome job on it. So overall, another somewhat simpler inflatable. I do like how they switched a little bit with that Santa suit, but overall, an awesome one, and yeah, definitely looks great in the collection. And carrying on, we got my Christmas Dinosaur inflatable from Superstore, which this guy is such an interesting one. Of course, it's this, I don't even know the name of the dinosaur, like a Stegosaurus or something, let's just call it that. And I love how it has these Santa hats on each of the spikes that are supposed to be sticking up, as well as the head. It's just so goofy and just so random. I love that detail. And then he's also got these snowflakes around him, which is a little bit of a weird detail, but it does add more to this inflatable, which I do appreciate. And then the head right there is very tiny, which is funny. And then I like how it's supported up by the four legs right there. So awesome. So overall, definitely one of the most unique designs I've seen for a dinosaur inflatable, and I'd probably have to say this is my favorite design out there. So honestly, a really cool one, and yeah, definitely one of my favorites in the collection. I just love how unique this guy is. And next up, here's another one from Superstore. This is, of course, my Gingerbread Man inflatable, which this guy is a simpler one, but honestly, I love Gingerbread Man inflatable, and for me, having only this guy right here is definitely a cool one to have. Design of me is really good. I like the Santa hat he's got up there, and then yes, all the little details on him, like all the little icing details, the little bow tie, the buttons and everything, tons of stuff going on, which I love. And yeah, he looks all happy. The arms are like all spread out, you can see. And yeah, honestly, a simpler one. I definitely would like to have some more gingerbread guys, but for right now, he's a cool one, and yeah, he'll look good in the future if I ever do get any more gingerbread men. And carrying on, we've got another penguin, which this is an interesting one because this was one I kind of got for free. I think it was after garage sale day or something. Like, people usually just leave some free stuff out in the yard that I just want to get rid of. So he was one that I'm finding, and overall an awesome one to find. He looks really great, in pretty good condition, and he's a pretty big one too, around 5 foot at the top of the head right there. And I like the design, you know, it looks very cute. He's got the Santa hat and then the scarf right there. So overall, a simpler one, but to get this guy for free, really awesome. And yeah, he definitely looks good with the other penguins. Definitely my least favorite just because of how simple he is, but still an awesome one. And next up, we got one which I got from Walmart a number of years ago, which is a really awesome one. It's this reindeer right here that's stuck in the snowball, which is such a unique one. I love the design they've done this. I like that projector he's got on the inside, and then just all his different arms and legs sticking out, and the big head down there. Overall, just such crazy inflatable. I've never really seen anything else like this done before, so I do like that aspect of it. And he's one too I was able to find for 75% off from Walmart. Is the one inflatable that they could not sell for 50% off. I don't know why no one wanted to get this, because it's a cool one. So overall, this guy right here, a sick one. Definitely one that I'd like to see them do more ideas that are unique like this. I do really love it. So overall, a sick one, and yeah, definitely one that looks good just right there in the middle of my yard. I always love putting them there. And next up, we got the Santa Gnome, which this guy's actually my dad's inflatable, and overall is an awesome one. Of course, he's got a bunch of these fluffy details, which are nice. Now, once they do get wet, it's not the greatest, but I do like how it looks, like the little mustache, the beard, and then the hat right there. That is awesome. Then design-wise on this, it looks great. Love that big hat he's got right there. That is just so massive. And then little face right there. I love that. His little body, just such a cute one. So overall, an interesting one. Definitely one of my more unique inflatables, but yeah, I definitely love that fluffy detail, and honestly, it would be cool if they used it for more inflatables because it seems like they don't use that detail too often. And next inflatable right here is one that I really love. Is my skiing moose, which a few things I love about this. Of course, the animation. I love how the arms there move back and forth. That is sick. And the design this guy's awesome. I love the big slab of snow he's got under him to give him sort of that angle that he's skiing down. Then the big skis look awesome. The moose himself, like how he's positioned everything. Then the big head right there looks sick. So honestly, this guy right here, I think he may have to be my favorite inflatable. I love him, and I love skiing, so you know he's definitely one that I gotta love. So overall, such cool. I like how I put him this year on top of Snowbank, and yeah, definitely one that I'd really want to see them bring back. He is so sick. And moving on, we've got once again another garage sale pickup. This is, of course, the McQueen inflatable, which honestly, when I was a kid, one of my dream inflatables was these Lightning McQueen and Mater ones, which I always wish I would have got. So once I saw this at garage sale, it was one that I knew I'd immediately had to get. I love how this looks. You know, it's just a big Lightning McQueen's got the Santa head on there, the little ornament on the side with his little 95 symbol. So honestly, such a cool one. I love them, and I was able to get them for only $5, which is insane because originally I think this retailed for $70. So really good deal there. And honestly, I still really want to get the Mater inflatable. If I ever come across it, it's definitely one that I would love to pick up. But for now, it's still really cool to have Lightning McQueen right here. And yeah, he looked great in my backyard each year. And next up here, we got my reindeer inflatable from Walmart, which this guy right here is an awesome one. I love the look of him right there. I like how he stands on all four legs right there. And then the head looks so cute with his little antlers there and everything. He's got his little collar on right there with a little bow tie. So overall, cool one. I love pairing this up with my Santa inflatable each year too. He looks so good next to him. Really just looks like one of Santa's reindeer. So overall, this guy right here, another simpler inflatable. It's still one that I really love. And if you have a Santa but you don't have a reindeer, I definitely recommend get a reindeer. They look so good together. And carrying on, we got my Christmas moose inflatable from Home Depot, which this guy right here, I love the look of him. Of course, that head right there looks awesome. I love, yeah, just how cute that looks, especially the little Santa hat, the little sweater he's got on. I love that. So great design, this guy. And then, yeah, definitely one of the coolest moose inflatables I've ever seen. They just did such a great job on this guy. So honestly, a really cool one to have in the collection. I love how big this guy is at over 5 feet tall. And carrying on, we got my Spongebob inflatable, which this guy right here, the second I saw Canadian Tire was getting a Spongebob Christmas inflatable. He's one that I went to immediately pick up. I think I even bought him before Halloween, which is crazy, but overall, this guy right here is definitely one I really love. SpongeBob was one of my favorite shows growing up, so definitely inflatable that I love to have in the collection. I like how it looks like he's dressed up as this little elf right here. He's got that elf hat, he's got the elf pants, little shoes and everything, so love the design on there. And then yeah, I like how he's sitting down too. That's kind of interesting. It would be hard to make him standing, so it was a pretty cool design choice to do it like that. So honestly, I love this guy right here. I also have a Halloween SpongeBob now, so I really got to get SpongeBob inflatables for every holiday. It'd be really cool, but I do really love having one right here for Christmas. And next up, we got my other big Snowman inflatables. Of course, one from Walmart from a few years back, which this guy right here, I love the look of him. I like just all the different stuff that's going on with him. He's got the top hat right there. He's got his little vest on. He's holding the present. He's got the little blue gloves on, the blue scarf. So I like that, how it's still somewhat a classic Snowman, but they've done a couple of little design changes to make it somewhat unique. So I love that. Also love just how big this guy is. He's about 7 feet tall, and then he's also really wide, which is sick. So overall, an awesome inflatable right here. I do wish he would have had the lights in him that you can change out, because this guy could have easily been one that they could have done a base fan, but they didn't. But overall, such cool Snowman. This is definitely one that looks really good at the back of my yard where I have him each year. So honestly, a really cool one. And yeah, it's awesome to have two massive snow inflatables now. And carrying on, next up here, we got my 4-foot polar bear inflatable, which this guy is an awesome one. Honestly, these polar bear type inflatables used to be some of my favorites out there, so he was definitely one of my favorites back in the day. And I love the design of this guy right here. That green Christmas sweater with the little trees got on is really cool. The face, on him looks great. Of course, got the Santa hat on there like they do with every inflatable. You know, they just gotta add it. And yeah, I like how he's posed right there too. He's got the one arm up, just like waving at you kind of, and then the other arm down. So honestly, great job design wise on this. It looks awesome. And then like different colors on it, like that green on there just really makes him pop a lot more, which I do appreciate. So overall, an awesome little polar bear, and yeah, really cool one in the collection. And next up right here is my other Nightmare Before Christmas inflatable. Of course, my Jack skeleton, which this guy is an awesome one. Of course, he looks very accurate to the show, which I love. You know, he's definitely a lot skinnier, which is cool. And then the face right there looks awesome. Like how he's in his Santa suit right here. Definitely has a very Christmassy vibe to it. It's got that big hat up there. And then, yeah, the suit and everything, which is awesome. He's also holding the Christmas tree right there, which I think is a nice detail. So overall, a pretty cool Jack skeleton. There definitely been cooler versions out there. I would have liked to have a different one, but still, this guy right here, not too bad of a one. And yeah, he looks really good with my Oogie Boogie now. They both pair together so well. And yeah, Jack right here, definitely a great one. And next up here, we've of course got my Grinch, which if you have a Christmas display and you don't have a Grinch, what are you doing? Grinch is definitely one of the best Christmas characters out there. And I really love the look of this inflatable right here. Of course, it's the Grinch coming out of Chimney. He's got Max right there to his side, and yeah, I love all the things about it. Of course, the head right there looks great. Definitely has that awesome classic Grinch look. Love how he has a tree right there. He's stealing it from the house, and then he's of course got a Santa suit on there and everything. And then I like the addition of Max right there on the bottom. Basically, two inflatables in one, which is really awesome. Then little chimney detail there is awesome. Definitely one that would look good just on the roof of your house, which is definitely something I would like to do. My roof's definitely a bit too angled to do something like this, but still, I love how it looks. Definitely one of the best Grinches out there, I will say, and he's still sold Canadian Tire to this day, which it's been a while he's been sold, but definitely what I would recommend again. I really love the design of this Grinch. And moving on, my favorite cartoon character of all time is Snoopy. And this inflatable right here is, of course, Snoopy on top of his doghouse, which I really love how this one looks. Of course, his doghouse right there. I love how it's all decked out for Christmas. It's got the Christmas lights all over it. Little wreath down there, which is awesome. Then I love Snoopy on top of the little addition of Woodstock right there. It looks awesome, and I definitely would like to upgrade to a new Snoopy inflatable. Snoopy just looks a bit dirty. Of course, it's a little bit broken. There's a few holes in it, but still, I love this guy. Definitely one that I love to have in the collection. I would like a new Snoopy guy, though, but still, for what it is, I love this guy. And yeah, the addition of the doghouse right there is definitely something I love about this guy, too. And next up here, we got my Christmas Fox, which is honestly my most forgettable inflatable. I always forget that I own this guy, but he's still really cool, and he's definitely just the most typical animal inflatable. Of course, they took an animal, then slapped a Santa hat on him, but I like the position of this guy, how he's posed right there, his little arms in front, the tail stick out the back. I do like that about him. Then it looks great too. An interesting design, how the cheeks really stick out. Really cartoony, but I do love that. So overall, a simpler but still goofy inflatable. And yeah, like I said, the most forgettable one. Always forget I have this, just has that vibe to it. But yeah, definitely one I still like to have. And you know, he just pairs along so well with some of the other just animal type inflatables I have. And carrying on, we got my Santa inflatable, or the second Santa, which who knows why I have two, I don't even know. But this guy right here is a cool one. He's definitely a more cartoonish version, I would say. That one's still cartoony, but this one's way more cartoonish. Of course, got that big beard right there, very thick mustache too on this guy, and then he's got that just happy, jolly vibe to him. Of course, he's got the one hand up right there. He's holding the candy cane. Then, rest of them, you know, it's just the standard Santa look, nothing too crazy. And overall, a big one too, 7 feet tall, and he's also pretty fat, so really big size for this guy. So overall, an awesome one. Definitely prefer the other Santa more, but still, this guy right here isn't too bad. And carrying on, we got one of my 2 Star Wars inflatables. Of course, a birthday present I got a number of years ago, and he's a really cool looking one. Of course, there's this big Stormtrooper guy right there. He's got the candy cane in the one hand, and I love just all the details on this. They definitely put a lot of effort into it. There's so many printed stuff on the clothing. Like most inflatables, you'll see they don't print too much details on it, but this guy, they went above and beyond, putting a lot of stuff on this, which looks great. I especially love the look of the head right there. It's awesome. And yeah, just that addition of the big candy cane. You know, usually what they do, like lots of inflatables, you see this add a Santa hat, but to instead add that, I do really love. So overall, an awesome inflatable right here. I love some of these Star Wars guys I have, and this guy right here, definitely my favorite out of all these Star Wars ones I've ever owned. And carrying on, right here's my other Star Wars inflatables, of course, Chewbacca, which this guy, I love the look of him too, of course. A lot of printed details on this guy too, like the face right there, and then all the fur details, which I do love. And then for this guy, they didn't add a Santa hat either, which I love that. Instead, they added the stocking, which looks great. Of course, says Milk and Wookiees on it. A bit more goofy, cartoonish, but I love how that is. So overall, I love how this guy is. Chewbacca, definitely one of the best Star Wars characters out there, so really happy to have him in inflatable form. And yeah, design wise, did a good job nailing that Chewbacca look. So overall, an awesome one, and this guy along with Stormtrooper look great together. And finally, everyone, we've made it to the end of the video. This is my oldest inflatables, of course, the Christmas wreath from Walmart from 2016, which overall, it's a very simple one. It's just a wreath. It's got the big bow up there, and then the little light looking details around it. So overall, nothing too crazy, but it is my oldest, so that is something. And I will say I have had other inflatables before this. All of them have just unfortunately broke, but still to have this as my oldest, it's a cool looking one and not too bad. So overall, a cool one. I always have it on the window in front of my house each year. It looks great there, and they haven't done any wreath inflatables like this in a while, it seems. So overall, an awesome one right here. And yeah, simpler one, but a good one. And anyways, with all that said, everyone, that is going to finish it for today's inflatable collection tour. Hopefully you enjoy. If you did, please make sure to like and subscribe and turn on those notifications. I'm going to be having a full display tour coming out soon, and you are not going to want to miss seeing what the full display for this year looks like. So yeah, definitely turn on those notifications so you don't miss when that is. Anyways, I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye.